Hey friends, I wanted to take a moment today to talk about the force velocity curve and training for power in general athleticism. Kind of starting in the 80s and 90s, bodybuilding split training or powerlifting training started to dominate the more general population kind of athletic realm of strength training. We kind of started to perceive good strength training for athletes as being centered around ideas around bodybuilding or centered around things like powerlifting. When we look at the force velocity curve here, what we see is that our 1-rep maxes, our really heavy slow singles exist very low on the velocity spectrum, and our very high velocity movements exist relatively low on the force spectrum. When we're an athlete or a gen pop person, we're kind of trying to take that curve and shift it over and up. That means that we produce higher velocities at higher forces and higher forces at higher velocities. If we're only doing kind of bodybuilder type splits or powerlifting training, we're probably leaving a lot of positive adaptation for ourselves on the table. We need to do some things heavy, we need to do some things fast, and we need to do some things really, really fast. And so in order to do that, I would look at adding plyometric and ballistic work, jumps, hops, things like that, and then adding some heavy singles, doubles, triples, even up to sets of 5, and then doing power work in the middle. So we can use more moderate weights, think that 60 to 70% intensity, and move them with maximal effort. When we look at type 2 muscle contraction, which is our fast twitch, really explosive muscle, the thing that we add size to, the thing that we add strength with mostly, a lot of its ability to express power occurs in this kind of middle intensity unloading zone and really, really high volitional effort in terms of the outputs that we're creating, how fast we're trying to move, how explosive we're trying to be. So I would recommend that if you look at your training and you're feeling dissatisfied with the way that it's carrying over to your athleticism, you look at where the movements that you're doing throughout the week exist on that force velocity curve, and you try to pepper in some type of stimulus for each domain throughout your training week. Rather than doing a bodybuilding split where it's arms one day and legs the next, maybe that looks like full body sessions, maybe it looks like upper and lower sessions separated. Either way though, we want to make sure that we're covering our entire force velocity curve. In addition to that, adding some type of cardiovascular or conditioning work is really, really important. We need to be able to do long, kind of low intensity, steady state cardio that provides our aerobic base. It's good for our capillary density and our mitochondrial health. And then we need to do some really high output, maximal heart rate interval work. We're looking at sprints, high intensity training, or maybe more sports specific training. Try these things, add them to your training. Let me know how it goes. Drop any questions below.